Okay, hey, hi. I'm trying to remember how to do this whole YouTube thing. 11 minutes of nonsense. Great. I have been gone for a little bit, so if you're new to my channel, then you probably won't care about that. If you're not new to my channel and you have noticed that I've been gone, I've been out of the country for a bit, and just coming back has been, geez, the jet lag's been gnarly, and just getting back into routines and processing the whole experience. So this video, I want to talk to you about the Venus-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Now we have a couple more years of these two meeting up in Taurus. And what does it even mean? Well, Venus belongs, quote unquote, in Taurus. She rules Taurus. It's one of her signs along with Libra. And it's where everything just feels kind of good. There's some deliciousness when Venus is in Taurus. These things just make us feel beautifully human, the beautiful parts of being human. Now, Uranus being there since 2018 is shaking up that entire paradigm. One of the downsides of the Taurus situation or the Taurus archetype is it could lead to some feelings of like laziness and just wanting convenience, wanting to be comfortable, where Uranus comes in and says, yeah, you might need to redo that. Now, Venus also represents beauty. It represents our feelings about what's beautiful. And Uranus comes in and says, maybe something that you don't think is conventionally beautiful is actually beautiful. This last experience that I had in Italy was very Taurian. I mean, we saw exquisite places. We ate how is it? Italy's famous for food for a reason, you know? I mean, it's just food is like so good. How is it just so much better there than everywhere else? Not everywhere else, but I mean a lot of other places. I mean, it's so good. Okay, I'll stop daydreaming about food for a moment here. But yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Anyway, I'm processing a lot of these astrological curriculum lessons of my own in this past few weeks that I haven't been here with you. And they're specifically related to the Uranus-Venus topics. So I'm hoping that my experience will be of use to you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Anytime you go to a different culture or you experience a different, even ethnic food, if you go to a restaurant that's different, or anything that's outside of your comfort zone, it really can shake you up in a good way. You know, it doesn't always feel comfortable in the moment. It shows you a different reality, more nuanced and more expansive and more I don't know, it's like so multivalent. And if we're always in a comfort zone, then we don't get to experience the vastness of how much variety is in the world. It's a kaleidoscope of different modes of being. It's a perfect Uranian analogy. It's a perfect analogy for the Uranian principle. Going into different cultures or different experiences that are unfamiliar, it really can shake you up, and it can break down things that need to be broken down. And this is not something we choose. It's something that's kind of propelled onto us so that we can make improvements in ourselves. The point of the breaking down of the old is so that something new can come in, something fresh and new that makes you stronger and feel alive and invigorated and ready to take on the next challenge. Uranus meeting up with Venus is a blending of their archetypes, and it indicates some cycle of relationship breakthrough, a rebirth of love and friendship. It's possibly some romantic electricity, doing things differently. You know, going out of your comfort zone, seeing beauty in the unconventional, and perhaps even more importantly is accepting your own personal human expression as something beautiful. So speaking of Taurus, we had an opportunity that it's like a bucket list kind of thing to happen. I never expected to get to do this in my life, but we were blessed by my parents-in-law they bought the tickets for us, and we got to go to the opera at La Scala. And it's one of the top opera houses in the world. It's fabulous. It's famous, it's glorious, it's perfect, it's expensive.
La Scala.
And they put a lot of effort into that place and into the music. And you just go there and it's very Taurus. It's opulent. It's red velvet chairs and exquisite design. Everything about it is beautiful. And the music is the whole place is designed so that the music comes, straight into your soul, right? So I knew we were going to the opera, but I didn't know what we were going to go see. I didn't know what we were seeing. It was two operettas, and one of them was Pagliacci, the clowns. So that famous sad clown, that was a nice full circle moment for me. Anyway, I didn't know that that's what we were going to be seeing, but he's the most famous sad clown. Pagliacci means clowns. And so it's a story about this particular guy who has to dress up like a clown, and the whole shtick in this side show, whatever, I don't know, their actual clown act is that his wife is cheating on him with another clown. And he has to come in and see that she's been with another clown and act like it's bad, but it's not that big deal. I don't know. I really don't know exactly what his deal was. But anyways, in the show that they had to put on, he had to come in on his clown wife with another clown. This is this is serious. This is opera. Okay. The girl that plays the wife is actually Pagliacci's wife, and she actually is having an affair with somebody else that she's in love with. The story is that Pagliaccio is actually a really big old man, and she's a very young, beautiful woman. And he picked her up off the street. She was like a gypsy, and she was starving, and she was a child. And he married her. And even though he was like 30 or 40 years older than her, and etc., she fell in love with someone else. And he found out about it. And so they do the play, and even though he's in the clown face and everything, he has to pretend like it's no big deal, but he can't. He can't. He has to give his authentic expression, and he overcomes the clown face and the mask, and it doesn't end well. It's an opera, it's Italian, but authenticity isn't always pretty. So we had this beautiful, beautiful time, right? And so I have all the pictures that I took, and I'm familiar with them because I'm looking through my phone and seeing them. But when we get home, all of our pictures go into the same. We share pictures, our family. And so there's some in there that I'm looking through, and holy moly, are they unflattering. There's so many pictures taken of me where I'm like mid-eating shot or like mouthful shot. I'm like, why? Why? Nobody should be taking photos of another person eating. It's just not pretty. It's not an artistic view. But it's life, I guess. I was not enjoying a lot of the photos that were taken of me, to say the least. Of like, wow. And I'm used to my own pictures, which of course I keep the ones that I feel like are flattering, and I delete the ones that are not. And they show me in the best light rather than the opposite. And that's kind of a clown mask, right? It's not real. It's not real. I was kind of already in a low space just because you come home and everything it's readjusting, and you have sleeping, it's just a big, it's a big transition. It was probably not the best timing for me to look through those, and because my personal experience was augmented by those pictures, and I was wrapped up in those unflattering moments rather than the memories of the actual event. Like I let them overtake. I'm like, oh God, so unflattering. It's like, that really how it looks? That how really it was? And I had to take some time to really sit with that feeling and feel it, because I wanted to push it away, but I've learned that processing the feelings of the discomfort when it comes is it's coming in for a chat. So it's like, well, what do you want to talk about? This is something personal that, this is like a lifelong issue for you. You want to talk about it? No, not really. Well, you're going to. Okay, fine. So I had to like sit with it and feel it and understand why this was such an issue, because it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. But I was seeking validation of my reality through the photos, my reality of the experience. I wanted to validate it. But it was another side of the truth of that bell curve. Now, unflattering photos, this just might sound very trite and like stupid, I understand. But it's not about that. It's more about the process of our reality, how I was processing reality and how I was destabilized by something like that. And it broke open an illusion inside of me because I had to face something that I valued a little bit too much. Life has ugly parts. I don't always look great, okay? Like there's some ugly, unflattering moments, along with the beautiful, happy, shiny ones. For every occasion that's beautiful, there's an equal but opposite, right? So I was forced to face myself in a full, authentic expression. And the question is, could I accept that? Or did I have to put my costume on, right? A person I've been listening to a lot lately is Dr. Zach Bush. I don't know if you know about him, but he was on a podcast I was listening to, and he said something that struck me. He said that we need to keep risking sharing ourselves in the most authentic and vulnerable way, because that's the only way to move forward, is to take the risk of complete exposure. That's this Venus conjunct Uranus. It's like, you talk the talk and you walk the walk. Like, are you really going to accept everything about yourself, even when you don't like it? Can I release myself from the falsity of my image, and see a broader perspective of myself that I might not enjoy or might not appreciate or like? But that's the homework of Venus Uranus. So it had some power over me for a few hours. Maybe the whole day. I don't know. It just really sucked. And I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling secure or confident. I was judging myself. Felt really unworthy. It was a very low moment. And it was just jet lag, being tired, not eating right, being on an airplane, all that stuff. It was just a low moment in my psyche, and I had to go through it. But eventually I started to see things a little bit differently, and my projection expanded and broadened. And I said, okay, fine. Get over yourself, Lindsay. Yes, you are not always looking perfect, and you're not perfect. Get over it. And there's some Virgo issues there. But it's real, right? It's real. And releasing the power that had over me, even a little bit, just a little bit, it felt like, another layer has been removed of this issue of projection. Like, the whole point of what I'm trying to do, the whole point of what I'm trying to share is to reach some authenticity that's real, And a disillusion was happening. Disillusion, illusion, disillusion. I want to accept myself as I am. But can I? I want to accept myself, and I want to accept everyone as they are. It's much easier to do with other people than ourselves sometimes. But first, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to be vulnerable. We have to be okay with everything about ourselves, even when we don't particularly like it, especially if we don't like it. And that's what's real, with parts that aren't things that we're going to share and be proud of necessarily, But the more we talk about it, more we expose that to the light a little bit, let's say, the more freedom we have. It's liberation. I need to pursue and engage in radical non-judgment so that I can give that to you, that I can radically accept you as you are is beautiful to me. And facing our perceived defects or whatever, things that we hide behind the clown makeup, and accepting them, that they're not defective. They're just part of the whole, right? This is Venus, Uranus conjoined, okay? That's the whole point of why I'm sharing this. It's a lightning bolt of awareness that even things that we might find distasteful or whatever, it still has beauty in it. And all that judgment is just so limiting. I was limiting myself. I can't make videos. I feel so unworthy. What do I have to say when I feel like this about myself, about accepting or whatever? I was confidence blocked, and I was just processing it all. And it was difficult in the moment. But Venus-Uranus cycles represent, amongst other things, liberation from these issues about, especially for women, about beauty and aging and all this stuff. I saw this YouTube short was titled 27-year-old with no Botox or fillers, and what she really looks like, what a person that age looks like with no augmentation. And I'm like, holy cow, 27? I didn't need any of that stuff when I was 27, and I know I don't need it now either. But this is the reality, that a 27-year-old is considered flawed if they don't have Botox and fillers and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. So Uranus just had its synodic cycle return with the sun as well. The Uranus cazimi was just a little bit ago, and it was a moment that Uranus took in and shone out all that power of the sun. It's just that moment where Uranus is on full blast. And not so coincidentally, we have a lot of stuff going on with the sun. It's kind of crazy right now, making aurora borealis, northern lights, whatever, visible in America, all the way down into Northern California and Alabama. It's pretty far south. So two other major things happen on the 18th. Jupiter cazimi, also in Taurus. Jupiter conjunct the sun. It's a new cycle. It lasts a year. So that's considered a very auspicious or lucky aspect. And also Mars is going to conjoin the North Node in Aries, which is a conjunction that's going to be continuing the story, the continuation of the story, tracking self-empowerment, the identity wound, maybe getting brave about it, really, and facing what needs to happen to move forward. Sound familiar? I mean, see, all these things, they work together. Astrology is this continuous flow of ideas and archetypes and experiences, and they all blend together, and they can't be really separated. They're all interwoven into each other. You just kind of have to pull back the lens a little bit, and you start to see that this is all a beautiful astro mosaic of life. It's you, it's me, it's everyone all together experiencing life and seeing the truth of how beautiful it all is. So beautiful. Even in its distortion and its flaws and difficulties. You know, and it's to full circle this. I went back, I deleted a lot of those pictures because I was ashamed of myself. I'm like, God, I look terrible. Isn't that silly? And so I had this experience, all these feelings, and I'm like, what am I doing? That's dumb. That's part of reality. That's how it was. And it was a beautiful week, whether I look like crap or not in these pictures. So I went back and took them out of the trash. And I put them back. And I would look through them again, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? They're not perfect pictures, but they're not that bad. I was just in a moment. And sometimes you might feel that way too. Give yourself some space and some grace in those moments where you might feel like you're getting, smacked around by life a little bit. Just have some grace with yourself. Give yourself some time and space, and look back again later and see if you feel the same way. You know, process and check back with yourself. Anyway, I'm sharing way too much, I'm sure, but that's the whole point. I like you just the way you are, and how can I do that? Is because I'm trying to like myself the way I am. Okay, I'll talk to you next time.